Hello everyone and welcome. Thank you for joining me today to learn about some of the policy and organizational changes I will be making to the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. The purpose of these changes is to reflect my priorities and vision for the office, to improve public safety, to strengthen the office, and to create additional leadership opportunities within the Prosecuting Attorney's Office. It is a great privilege and honor to lead this office. And as I have shared many times over the past year, public safety is my #1 priority. I believe the changes I am announcing today will improve public safety by addressing and bringing focused attention to some of King County's greatest areas of concern. In the weeks following my election, I have had the opportunity to meet with employees, both deputy prosecuting attorneys and legal service professionals, in one-on-one and small group settings. In meeting with employees, 3 themes repeatedly surfaced. There is a pent-up hunger for innovation in all parts of the office. There is a strong demand for additional leadership opportunities, and there is a strong desire for additional training. This includes professional development training, trial skills training, supervising training, and race, equity, and social justice training. Over the course of the past year, I have also had the opportunity to meet with many outside leaders, partners, law enforcement, and other stakeholders who are impacted by the work of our office and who share our values of public safety and racial equity. After being elected to lead this great office, I also convened a team of experienced leaders and policymakers with the purposes of learning from their broad range of perspectives and experience, and of soliciting their ideas and feedback regarding the work of the office. We met on December 19th, and I am grateful for their strong support and all of the sage advice and wisdom they shared with me. The metaphor that I have used in describing change is this: I have a clear vision on how to paint the outline, and I also want, need, and invite the participation of our office, our communities, and law enforcement to add the color, texture, and details to our painting. To make my public safety priority a reality, it will involve regular stakeholder meetings, improved and more frequent communications, and stronger relationships and partnerships. I look forward to the collaboration and good work ahead. The first change I am announcing today is the creation of a new gun violence prevention unit. Like every major jurisdiction in the United States, King County has also seen an increase in gun violence over the past few years. We have an opportunity to make our community safer. The King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, through data analysis, knows how to identify the individuals who are close to gun violence. The purpose of this new unit is to decrease gun violence in our community with a twofold approach: identifying and prosecuting the individuals causing the most harm in our communities, and connecting individuals who are close to gun violence to community-based resources before they become victims or perpetrators of violence. Our new gun violence prevention unit will also expand its coordination with our office's Extreme Risk Protection Order team. In my vision, our new gun violence prevention unit is at the heart of a strong partnership where prosecutors, police, community leaders, and nonprofits use data to inform our collective approach to tackling gun violence. Together, we can identify those who are perpetuating the most harm in our communities and bring accountability. We can also provide meaningful interventions to help keep people from becoming victims and perpetrators of violence. I believe gun violence is preventable, and that this new unit will serve to reduce the devastating effects of gun violence on our King County communities. The creation of this unit serves the additional purpose of adding another leadership opportunity within the Prosecuting Attorney's Office. In the weeks to come, we will have an open and competitive process to select someone to lead this new unit. Over the course of the past year, individuals have expressed a desire for the Prosecuting Attorney's Office to be more timely and deliberate in how we address sexual assault and sexual violence, particularly in cases involving adult victims. As the first woman to lead this office, combating and working to prevent violence, including gender-based violence, is a priority for me. I know others within the Prosecuting Attorney's Office share this priority. Gender-based violence is a term often used to describe the type of violence rooted in exploiting unequal power relationships between genders. Gender-based violence disproportionately impacts women of color, Indigenous women, transgender individuals, and LGBTQIA+ people. The second change I am announcing today is the creation of a new division focused on the prosecution and prevention of gender-based violence. This includes the removal of firearms from domestic violence and other dangerous situations. While all victims and survivors of crime are relevant and deserve to be heard, the purpose of this new division is to elevate and improve our office's response to gender-based violence. This division will bring a trauma-informed, victim-centered approach to these cases. Cases involving rape, sexual assault, and domestic violence often share some common evidentiary challenges, and a focused approach will improve the prosecution of these serious crimes. The creation of this new division serves the added purpose of creating an additional leadership opportunity within the prosecuting attorney's office. In the weeks to come, we will have an open and competitive process to select a new chief to lead this new division, and this new division chief will report directly to me. Our new gender-based violence and prevention division will house the following units and practices: our domestic violence unit, 2 special assault units, 1 focused on children, 1 focused on adults, our sexually violent predator unit, hate crimes, our regional domestic violence firearm enforcement unit, Project Safety, which provides legal, civil aid to victims of domestic violence, our Child Advocacy Center, Commercial Sexual Exploitation, which is also known as trafficking, and our new Gun Violence Prevention Unit. Today, I am also announcing changes to how the Prosecuting Attorney's Office organizes our sexual assault practice. Our office's Sexual Assault Unit currently handles the prosecution of child homicide, child abuse and neglect cases, in addition to sexual assault cases involving adult and child victims. I am organizing our Special Assault Unit into 2 distinct practice areas, 1 focused solely on child victims, 1 focused solely on adult victims. Each focus will have its own unit chair. The purpose of this change is to specifically focus attention and resources on each of these distinct areas of practice. This change also serves the added purpose of creating an additional leadership opportunity within the Prosecuting Attorney's Office. Instead of 1 unit chair position, we will now have 2. Over the course of the past year, I heard from many in our business communities about the harmful impacts of organized retail theft. This crime has significant and negative financial implications on businesses, large and small. Organized retail theft can even force small businesses to close because many do not have the resources necessary to withstand the economic impact of repeated thefts and loss of merchandise. Repeated thefts also scare store employees and customers, which is another reason why I see organized retail theft as an important public safety issue that must be addressed. In 2022, the Prosecuting Attorney's Office filed more than double the number of organized retail theft cases that it did in 2021. Many of those cases were filed in collaboration with the Seattle City Attorney's Office. Seattle City Attorney Ann Davison is a strong leader and has been a valuable partner in making Seattle a safer city. Under Ann's leadership, the relationship between our 2 offices has never been stronger. I am grateful for Ann's partnership and our shared value of public safety. I look forward to our ongoing collaboration. I also heard from labor organizations about the serious impacts of wage theft, a crime that has been historically underreported and rarely prosecuted. Wage theft is also a silent epidemic that disproportionately victimizes women, people of color, and immigrant workers. Wage theft is a race equity issue that systematically impacts those who are among the most marginalized and vulnerable in our communities. For all of these reasons, I am announcing the creation of a new Economic Crimes and Wage Theft Division. This new division will house the following units and practices: economic crimes, organized retail theft, mortgage fraud, complex fraud, insurance fraud, identity theft, elder abuse, and wage theft, a new practice area and emphasis for our office. The purpose of our new Economic Crimes and Wage Theft Division is to work closely with law enforcement and to provide a unified focus and approach to economic crimes. This unit will continue to bring greater accountability for organized retail theft and work with labor organizations to increase the reporting, investigation, and prosecution of wage theft cases. This unit will also work with law enforcement and labor and industries to develop the investigative tools necessary to gather the evidence needed to prosecute these serious crimes. The creation of this division serves the added purpose of creating an additional leadership opportunity within the prosecuting attorney's office. Our mainstream criminal division will house the following units and practices: our homicide unit, also known as our Most Dangerous Offender Project, violent crimes, general crimes, our district court unit, our special operations and our public integrity units, involuntary treatment at court, therapeutic alternatives, collaborative justice, post-sentencing, our appellate unit, and a new felony traffic unit. I have asked Dan Clark to serve as this division's chief. He will lead our mainstream criminal division. And together as an office, we will work to find the right name for this division. Today, I am also calling attention to and elevating the important work of Amy Friedheim. Amy is a recognized expert throughout our state and across our nation. Her decades of experience and skill and experience in prosecuting serious felony traffic cases, particularly vehicular homicides and vehicular assaults, is unsurpassed. Vehicular homicides and assaults have devastating impacts on victims and survivors. They are among the most heartbreaking cases that come to our office. Yet, for far too many years, Amy shouldered this caseload alone. It has only been in recent years that the prosecuting attorney's office assigned a second deputy prosecutor to assist in the prosecution of these cases. I am creating a new felony traffic unit and promoting Amy to serve as unit chair. The purpose of this change is to underscore the importance and seriousness of vehicular homicide and assault cases and their devastating impacts on victims and survivors. This unit will be housed in our mainstream criminal division, and our office must work to dedicate additional resources to this important body of work. My final announcements for today are about my leadership team and the organization of their work. Carla Lee will serve as my chief of staff. Carla has earned this appointment because she is a strong and experienced leader. Carla began her career in the prosecuting attorney's office in the criminal division, starting, like so many of our deputy prosecutors, in district court. Carla was later selected after a competitive process to serve as our office's first director of community partnerships. She was later promoted to serve as our deputy chief of staff. Carla is a trailblazer. She built our office's clemency practice, and under her leadership, our practice has expanded into a nationally recognized and replicated conviction integrity and sentence review practice. Before joining the prosecuting attorney's office, Carla worked in partnership with former Washington State Supreme Court Justice Bobby Bridge at the Center for Children and Youth Justice, or CCYJ for short. There, she led and implemented juvenile justice reforms as part of a MacArthur Foundation grant. Carla was also the principal and founder of a civil practice law firm focused on the litigation of commercial bankruptcy, consumer protection, and employment law cases. Carla has also been the recipient of several awards, including the Washington Women Lawyers Member of the Year Award for King County Chapter, the Lauren Miller Bar Association's President's Award, and the Class of 2009 Goldmark Award in recognition of her service to the Washington State Bar Association's Board of Governors. Carla is a calm and observant leader, and she brings an important perspective to our office's leadership ranks. I value the fact that Carla thinks differently than I do. She regularly challenges me to adopt new perspectives and to consider the equity impacts of every challenge and opportunity. Because Carla has been appointed to serve as my chief of staff, the deputy chief of staff position is now vacant. I do not intend to fill that position immediately. I am keeping this position open for now because after some time has passed, I will have a better sense of how this position can best serve the needs and purpose of the office. The rest of my leadership team is comprised of Susie Sloniker, the interim chief of our civil division, An Nguyen, the assistant chief of our civil division, Kathleen O'Brien, the chief of our family support division, Jimmy Hung, the chief of our juvenile division, Ben Santos, the assistant chief of our juvenile division, Dan Clark, the chief of our mainstream criminal division, Christina Miyamasu, the current assistant chief of our mainstream criminal division, Heidi Parkington Thal, the director of human resources, Hazel Johnson, deputy director of human resources, Casey McNerthney, director of communications, Douglas Wagner, deputy director of communications, Nicole Franklin, director of information and technology, Jay Zhao, director of budget and finance, Colleen McIngles, director of victim services. Today, I am announcing a change to victim services. I will centralize victim services to serve under the leadership of Colleen McIngles. The purpose of this change is to ensure that our victim advocates have the agency and autonomy necessary to focus on the needs and concerns of victims. This change serves the added purpose of allowing greater flexibility and creativity in the delivery of services to ensure that they are compassionate, timely, culturally responsive, and victim-centered. The final change I am announcing is that I am reorganizing our data analytics into a single team. This new unified team will report directly to me and my chief of staff to ensure that we take a data-informed approach to all of the work of the office. I have announced a lot of changes today. These changes were inspired by some of the good ideas and innovations shared with me by our deputy prosecuting attorneys and legal service professionals and leaders in our business, law enforcement, labor, and nonprofit communities. These changes reflect some of my priorities and vision for the office. These changes will prioritize public safety, improve our practice, strengthen our partnerships with law enforcement, and provide a more equitable response to crimes that disproportionately impact BIPOC, immigrant, and other marginalized people. Some of these changes are outlines and will require necessary follow-up to work out the important operational details. I have also shared previously my desire to hold a public safety summit. My thinking on this approach has evolved. I no longer believe this is a single conversation for a single summit. Instead, I intend to hold a series of summits, each dedicated to a specific concern or opportunity. I intend for the first summit to address gun violence in King County. Stay tuned for upcoming details regarding those plans. I want to clearly acknowledge that today's announcements do not touch on some of the other important work ahead of us. We must still determine how to increase our community's participation in our work because they have asked for a seat at our table. Our communities want to better understand the work of the office and to craft justice with us. We must determine how to invite the participation of the community's help in applying a race, equity, and social justice lens to our work. The Prosecuting Attorney's Office has not done this on a regular and systematic basis, and we can use the help and guidance of the individuals and organizations who have done so. Together, we are writing a new chapter in the Prosecuting Attorney's Office, and we are building a new culture of continuous improvement with a focus on public safety, where good ideas, suggestions, and feedback are regularly shared, discussed, and considered for implementation. Together, we will continue to bring positive change to King County. Thank you.